It wasn't too bad. It was just like a written portion for my social work
Gotcha.
class.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I started the broadcast. Want to jump on in?
What?
Do you want to jump on into it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to lead this time?
Sure.
Cool.
So
I'm so tired, sorry.
Is it already recording?
Yeah, it's recording. Oh, I should introduce myself. I'm Shelby Darby.
I'm Marie Hedrick. Okay, so in chapter 4, when it talks about designing effective instruction, I really liked that it brought up like the aspect of nurturing. Thought that was really interesting. It's like not what I expected at all, and it makes a lot of sense because like I know that whenever I've gone to class and I feel like my thoughts and experiences and comments are like valued and it's like a safe place, like it helps me learn a lot better because I think like insecurity is a really big it hinders like learning a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. I really like that. Something that stood out to me from chapter 4. Sorry, my computer just dimmed down a little. But this is kind of like a silly thing, but I really like being able to take notes when I'm in class. And so something that I'm doing for all of my documents and stuff, I'm adding a cute note section for each paper where people can like put handwritten notes in on the one of my resources is called Young Minds in Media, and it's something that the American Pediatrics Association printed, and it has a whole bunch of advice for parents, but there's really no way to like take written notes. So that's just something I'm adding for all of my handouts and stuff. Just
I think that's
kind of encourage it.
Yeah. I've also thought about like with the note taking thing, like if I want to do like, okay, you can take notes on your phone or whatever you want to, or if I should provide notes as well.
I love that idea.
Sure, yeah.
Um,
Okay, so another thing that stood out to me, I liked that it emphasized like using stories
mm-hmm.
because I love like reading case studies and like diving into like other people's personal lives, kind of. I feel like it really helps me like I don't know, contemplate a lot more. Like, how would I react in this situation? And like, when I like hear stories about how people like demonstrate like certain principles, like that really is like a good way for me to learn. And
Yeah.
really realize that until I was reading that portion of the chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that too. It just makes it more real. I think it makes the information you're sharing relevant and helps people to care about what you have to say. So that's a good idea. Um, One of the things I noted was that I need to help parents in my class look beyond like their circumstances and what's going on to like the why it's happening. The chapter 4 just talked a lot about taking it home and like you share principles, but you have to help them make the connection to how they can actually go and do something about it in their life.
Babe, no. Sorry.
You're good. I have a dog. No worries. So that's something that I want to try to figure out how to do better with my lesson plans is make like real actual challenges that will help people to implement what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that. Let's see. Is there anything else from chapter 4 that you want to touch on?
Oh yeah, this one I thought was kind of cool. So I thought about having like an introduction question to the beginning of my chapter, and then I'm going to oh, my husband Sebastian just brought me a charger for my computer. He noticed it was dying. I like kind of scowled when he walked in because I was really tired and grumpy. And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing some sleep for you." Sorry, sweetie. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna ask a question and have people write anonymously, and then I'll read answers for the questions that are maybe a little bit more sensitive or they might be more embarrassed to talk about.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of fun.
I love that. I don't know if you've heard of Top Hat.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I used it in one of my classes on campus once.
Yeah. In my marriage class, we were allowed to ask like anonymous questions, which was really awesome. Because obviously you don't want people knowing really deep personal details about your marriage.
Yeah.
So I think that that's like a really good resource if you want to like.
Yeah, I love that. I'm writing it down. Thanks. That's a great idea.
Okay. So in chapter 5, I just kind of took a little bit of notes from the art of teaching. Just like, I think it's really easy, even though like I've criticized teachers in the past for just like making lectures super boring. Like, I totally see how it's so easy to just do that. And so like I just wrote down like some goals of like not just pounding facts into people, because it's like you just like constantly just like stream off like, oh yeah, like this statistic, like if you do this it'll help. Like, I don't know, it will go like through one ear out the other. Like,
yeah,
really grasp it. And then like not leaving my audience like disengaged. I wrote unengaged. But yeah, and so like doing that through like the other methods that they talked about like later on, they talk about a lot of different like group methods, and then also just like thinking about how I would want to learn the material. And so like how, like when I think about concepts that have really stood out to me in the past, it's usually because there was some kind of like awesome like story or like activity or something involving it that like just really caught my attention. So just like keeping that in mind, like when I'm going over a topic that I really want people to like get.
So
yeah,
that's awesome. So one of the challenges that I have kind of already in life is I would say 95% of the stuff I talk to like other parents about, like that pertain to what I'm teaching right now or what I've studied. Like what I'm trying to say is it's just really common for people to do things that are easy or that their parents did or what have you, but they're not necessarily what's best for developmental outcome. And so one of the things that I have done in the past is just not say anything. And, I'm just like, oh, okay. But this class is kind of an opportunity for me to talk about, what their options are and provide people with insights that can really like strengthen and benefit their kids and their families. And so one of the things that I learned from the art of teaching that I think will help me do that is to focus on the positive things that their parents are doing and build on those positives. So say one of my topics is routine, establishing a routine throughout the day. Well, a lot of parents already have like a routine for their nighttime. But building on that, okay, well, maybe then you can start to have regular dinner. And before dinner, you might want to have a regular playtime. And before that playtime, and just kind of like backtrack and build on something that they're already doing rather than like saying, oh, well, you need to have a routine all the way throughout the day. And because that's not really like realistic to explain it that way, but it's easy for people to understand the principle if you reverse it. So that's one of the things that I thought about.
No, I really agree with that, and I actually like wrote down like similar things, but like with marriage. So like with a marriage, it's like it can be applied, but just obviously in different ways. So okay, and then also it talks about like for engaging an audience, like the relevance, respect, and participation. So like I made it like a really big goal not to ramble because I'm so bad at that. And then like staying relevant too, I'm really bad at that. Like I think that what's really going to help me is like keeping like to a lesson plan, like really like even like thinking about how long each segment of my lesson will take and everything, because I can like really just kind of go off. It's like kind of bad.
So funny, maybe funny as a missionary. That's something I really struggled with all the time because I just really like to talk to people about anything and everything, and it was really hard for me to like just talk about the gospel because I like also cared about how people cooked meals or whatever. I don't know. And so one of the things that I did to help me was with our lesson plans that we would teach with, I would write down like words that pertain to whatever I was teaching in that lesson. And I would listen for them in conversation or in the story that somebody was sharing with me, that like an investigator was sharing. And then I would use that to like bring it back to whatever my gospel principle was.
That's cool.
So it was just a way for me to like have a visual, like, oh, when people talk about this, I can bring it to this point. And it kind of helped me connect my thoughts and focus them in on what I was trying to get across without talking to somebody for like 3 hours.
I think that could really benefit me, actually. That's a really good idea. I feel like that also like goes with I like am so mixed up with these chapters, but it like literally talks about that exact thing, like making connections. Like when people like have a comment and like it's starting to get off track, like try to like connect it, like find any way to connect it. So
you just did it though, which was cool because we were talking about it, and then you connected it to another chapter in the book. So 10 points, you're already doing
it. Okay. I don't know how long we've been talking. Is there a way to see that?
We just have to go to 53.
Okay.
11:53. Oh. So we got 5 minutes left.
Okay. Okay, how do you... We have 3 more chapters to talk about. Okay. You want to just skip to chapter 6? We can each say something.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so I liked the idea of like the buzz groups because I feel like I do that in literally every single one of my classes, like not online obviously, but like specifically in my marriage class and like family relations classes, like they did that a lot. And I thought that like I don't know, it helped us to really dive into our own perspectives and our unique and we were able to really share and like learn a lot from that, because not every person is gonna raise their hand and like share something all the time in the class. There's not time for that. So like to have buzz groups, I think is like a really smart idea.
Yeah, totally. I love that idea. One of the things that I'm doing right now, I'm using a TED Talk that I really liked by a guy who was involved in multiple studies that I'm using for my whole course. And so right now I'm actually going in and editing those TED Talks to make them like shorter and more condensed, but also that they have like a smooth transition to where it's not like distracting. So that's something that as like a teaching tool, I thought would be useful.
Yeah, I love TED Talks. Those are great. Okay, let's go to chapter 7.
Okay.
I didn't really get that much. I mean, I got a little bit. Like, as far as like diverse audiences, every single one of my participants is like in their early 20s and a newlywed and female and LDS and without kids. So like there's not that much diversity, but I think that there could be a lot of diversity in learning styles. So like that's something that I really want to pay attention to. But I'm also really close friends with all these people, so I feel like I know them really well already.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me an upper hand, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. That's awesome. I have 3 people coming to my class that speak Portuguese, and so and that's their native language, and they kind of speak English, and so I'm using my language skills to translate like summarized notes of the research that I have. And
you speak Portuguese?
yeah, I served in Brazil. So
oh my goodness, that's so cool.
So I'm trying to, it's really hard because like most of what I speak is just conversational Portuguese. So when I'm like looking through these studies and trying to figure out how to summarize like scientific notation and stuff, I'm like, what the heck? But it's kind of cool. It's it's an opportunity for me to tell them, and then they'll tell people of a different culture who do things like totally different
right.
what we do here. So
that's so cool. Yeah. You definitely are facing a lot more diversity than I am.
Yeah, lots of diversity going on.
Yeah.
It's a fun challenge.
I know you're doing a parenting workshop, but I know it's like really specific.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time remembering what it was.
Yeah. So it's I'm teaching about like, it's a dumb title. It's about developmental distinguishment. So I'm teaching about milestones, and then I'm teaching about screen time, I'm teaching about routine, and I'm teaching about the 4 parenting types.
Okay, cool. I love that topic so much.
Yeah. I think it'll all be pretty digestible except for the screen time. I think that'll be like the one thing that people really do have, they're like set in their ways about. But I'm trying to approach it in a way that's, I don't know, nice and like understandable, help them understand like why children struggle and like what the negative consequences are and why they're naturally occurring, you know? So
yeah, I'm pretty passionate about that topic, honestly. So yeah.
Me too. And it pains me. Like I believe so strong because the evidence is so clear. And so it just like really just makes me sad. So that'll be my challenging subject.
From what I understand, it's like infants should never like be exposed to screens, right? Like under 2, is it 2?
There are 2 different theories. It's at least under 3, but many people will say under 2.
But there's one under 3. Okay. And then also like, isn't it just 14 hours a week?
So I've heard and read many different things, but for infants, or for toddlers and preschool age, they say an hour tops a day. Like, okay. Because most toddlers and preschool children are only awake for 9 hours a day. And so like in infants, I mean, they're only awake for like 6 to 8 hours a day, sometimes even less, depending on how little they are. And like most children spend like 70% of their day in front of a screen, which is like blows my mind. That's average. So it'll be kind of like my nephew. He's 6 months old, and he's 6 months old, and he watches more TV than anybody I know. Like they just stick him in front of a TV and a bouncer all day. I'm like, no, his little brain. Because it leads to like attention problems, and I'm talking too much. I'm sure we'll get into this at some point, like the meat of our subjects. But
yeah, no, I love learning about that topic because we only dove into it like a little bit in my parenting class.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, yeah, no. But I nannied a couple that was really passionate about that as well. And their thing was like no more than 2 hours a day, but they had school age boys. So they were like
Yeah.
second grade and kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. It really does just depend on the age group. And this guy that I was telling you about who did the TED Talk, who's really involved in research about screen times, he said that he talked about things that you can do to counteract the negative consequences, like reading to your kids and having like a lot of cognitive stimulation. It can reduce the negative effects. So like if your kid watches a lot of TV every day, they should be reading a lot too, and it can help them to not like have ADHD in the future. I mean, there's a lot of benefits and of knowing what's going on with your kid's brain. I don't know.
It makes me worry for my own health because I literally am on my computer doing like classwork all day.
Yeah.
I had an office job like 2 summers ago and I got migraines like 2 to 3 times a week.
I just want a posture corrector because like I'm in front of it, so I'm like hunched over all the time. So I'm like trying to, I don't know, counteract all of what technology is doing to me.
Yeah. It's hard.
I'll
Yeah.
send you my TED Talk though if you want to see it. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I'd totally be down for that if you want to send me the link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 10.
Well, okay. I'm chapter 9. I'm marriage and relationship education.
Mhm.
And so they taught like there's a lot of really useful information in this, honestly.
Mhm.
But they talked about Gottman's theories,
Mhm.
and he has like 3 things to like build a satisfying relationship,
Mhm.
and that's like building a marital friendship, regulating conflict, and creating shared meaning. And I was like actually really surprised because I had never heard about these things before.
Mhm.
And so I definitely like want to implement them. It like touches on like in building marital friendship, like spouses like taking notes of things they want to remember of each other, like not just like mental notes, but like actually writing things down and finding a way to really remember things.
Mhm.
And then taking it a step further, like, so those could be like any kind of qualities, but then taking it a step further to write down the things that you admire and then like expressing those things regularly.
Yeah.
And then he talks about like the bids for connection, which I have heard about this part, but how often like they say it's like mostly men that will turn down like a woman's bid for connection and just like how toxic that is. So I definitely like want to talk about more about this theory like in my lesson for sure.
I love that so much. I love that you're focusing a lot on like positive things too, like just everyday things that you can do rather than. I think a lot of marriage education focuses on like the damaging things that you can do in your relationship and to avoid this and to avoid that, which is totally necessary. But it's awesome that you're talking about the good things that you can do each day and that make a difference. My husband and I, when I studied Gottman's theories, we did the like writing down good things about each other, and we turned it into like kind of like a ritual. I don't know. We just we have like a journal that we keep together, and we write goals, have goals and stuff. But we'll write down stuff like that together, and it's been really helpful. So
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Makes me want to do that with my husband.
it's fun. We try to do it once a week, but usually it turns into like a once a month kind of thing.
Yeah. You can have a child, right?
Yeah, we have one, and he's 18 months old.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
pretty great.
my husband and I are expecting our first in Christmas.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yay, congratulations. Okay, so how far along are you then?
I am going to be 11 weeks.
Girl.
Monday. Monday.
We haven't even announced yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
Hi.
We just told people.
I'm like just like the random online person who's so excited for you.
we told our waiter at Olive Garden.
Dude, that's so I'm gonna cry. That's so I just remember how exciting it is to be pregnant, and oh, I'm so happy for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
That's so darling. Yeah, so do you have any like inclination, boy or girl?
I think we both think it's a girl, but
Yeah.
which probably means it's a boy.
If they let you do your scan early, your gender test early, don't trust it.
Did you do that and it was wrong?
Yeah, they told us at 18 weeks that it was a little girl, and we both thought we were gonna have a little boy. And so we went out that day and got like our first little outfit and called my parents, called his parents, and we went back and they were like, definitely has a penis. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's yeah, I don't want that to happen. I want it to be like a for sure thing.
My husband didn't let me go crazy on buying clothes yet, so I just had one thing, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I mean,
you can return it still.
Aw, I'm so happy for you. That's exciting.
Thank you. It's definitely been a lot harder to stay on top of schoolwork with being so sick.
Are you sick? What's going on? Is it like nausea, vomiting kind of stuff, or tired?
Yeah, just like all of the things that you could expect.
No.
I feel fine right now though, so that's good.
That's good. God's like helping you out on Saturday nights.
Yeah, my husband he works from like 7, and then he gets home around like 10 or 10:30.
Does he do alarms?
He does sales for pest control.
Pest control, okay.
Yeah, and so it's definitely been an interesting semester.
Yeah. Oh, my husband did alarms, and it was lonely. I'm so glad that you have like wives that you can be around. And
oh gosh, yeah, none of them know yet. I'm gonna get called a liar probably because
you're gonna be so spoiled.
Yeah.
They might be upset for like 2 seconds, but then they'll be like, "What?" They'll be so happy for you. Won't even matter. Plus, most people wait till 12 weeks anyway, so they'll understand, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well,
congrats on your little bean.
Thank you. It's gonna be a lime.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, you got a whole lime in you. That's pretty awesome.
It's crazy.
Have you started? Are you on the bump or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've pretty much read through, like, because I have so much time of just laying in bed. I've read through every single week on that app.
Dude, I was the same way. So I can't remember what happens at 11 weeks, like developmentally, but instead of being like a little gummy bear, I bet you have like polyping arms now. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I just want to know the gender. That's like all I think about.
Yeah. Do you have any funny cravings yet?
I don't really crave
It's the
food.
opposite of cravings.
If anything sounds good, I have to eat it because I don't eat.
No.
Everything goes in and comes out.
Dude, oh, that's so hard. Hopefully it'll lighten up once you get into the second trimester.
Yeah, I think it will. Just because my mom is pretty similar to me, and that's what happened to her. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad she got better, so you can have some like light at the end of the tunnel just coming around. Oh, well, congratulations! I'm excited for you. I'm excited I get to be in your group so we can talk about it all semester long.
Oh yeah. And next time we talk, everyone's gonna know anyway. So.
Yeah. I want to hear about how you revealed everything. Are you gonna do a big reveal on Facebook or anything?
I like want to. My husband's very low key,
Yeah.
and I like kind of going over the top in some ways. So maybe we'll find a balance. I don't know.
If there's anyone who can do it, it's you. You do all like this marriage studies, and you'll be good for it, I'm sure.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Thanks for meeting with me tonight. I'm glad we won't fail.
You kind of cut out, so I didn't hear anything you just said.
Oh, okay. I just said thanks for meeting with me, even though it was late.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't like contact you earlier. I just have been like so behind.
You're totally fine. You got pregnancy brain. You got a lot going on.
It's true. It took me an entire day to do an outline for like a literature review today. It took me the entire day because I like could not. It was kind of fun. Yeah.
All your energy is going to that little baby, less to your brain. It's totally a true thing. People say it's not, but it is.
I believe that too. Well, I will let you get to bed because it's like midnight where you are.
Yeah. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too. I'll see you in like 3 weeks. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.